My story begins with heartbreak. I had been in a relationship for 15 years. We were best friends, inseparable, or so I believed. My world came crashing down when I discovered his infidelity. His betrayals were numerous, a pattern of deceit woven into our lives. The pain was unbearable, a deep wound that cut to my core. I was already reeling from the loss of my father and my grandfather. To lose them both in such a short span of time was devastating. And then, to have my partner betray me so completely, it felt like the universe was conspiring against me. I had moved for him, for us, for the future we were building. Now, that future was gone, and I was stranded in a foreign land, surrounded by strangers. The weight of my grief was suffocating. The pain of losing my father and grandfather was still raw. Their absence was a constant ache. And then there was the betrayal, the sharp, stinging pain of a broken heart. The loneliness was almost unbearable. In a new country, I hadn't had the time to build a support system. I was surrounded by people, yet I felt utterly alone. The language barrier, the cultural differences, everything felt like an obstacle. Days blurred into nights. I moved through life in a fog of despair. But even in the darkest of times, a flicker of hope can emerge. Despite the pain, a part of me recognized the opportunity for a fresh start. This new country, once a symbol of my shattered dreams, now held the potential for reinvention. I could rebuild my life, brick by brick. I ventured outside my apartment, exploring the neighborhood. I enrolled in language classes, eager to break down the communication barriers. Slowly but surely, I began to connect with people. I threw myself into work, finding solace in the structure and routine it provided. It was during this time that I rediscovered my inner strength. As I navigated this new chapter, I began to listen to my intuition. It whispered words of encouragement, urging me to step outside my comfort zone. It was this voice, the voice I recognized as God, that led me to the coffee shop that fateful day. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air as I stepped inside. The coffee shop was bustling with activity. I found a quiet corner and settled into a plush armchair. I had been hesitant to venture out that day. The grief still clung to me, a heavy cloak I couldn't shake off. But something urged me to leave the confines of my apartment. As I sipped my tea, my gaze drifted across the room, landing on a man sitting at a table near the window. Our eyes met, and in that instant, something shifted within me. It wasn't a romantic spark, not yet. It was something more profound, a sense of recognition. And then, I heard it. He is a good man. The voice startled me. It was soft, yet firm, a whisper that resonated deep within my soul. I had learned to trust its wisdom, its gentle nudges. This time, however, the voice's message caught me off guard. He is a good man, it whispered again. My heart skipped a beat. Who was this man? Why was this voice drawing my attention to him? I was in no state for romance, my heart still bruised and battered. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was meant to be. There was an undeniable energy in the air, an invisible thread connecting me to this stranger. Trust me, the voice whispered, its tone soothing, reassuring. Opening my eyes, I stole another glance at the man across the room. He was engrossed in a book, his brow furrowed in concentration. He had kind eyes, I noticed, and a warm, gentle smile. There was an air of quiet strength about him. I took a slow, deliberate sip of my tea, willing my heart to slow its frantic pace. I had been hurt before, deeply, and the thought of making myself vulnerable again filled me with trepidation. What if this was a mistake? What if I got hurt again? He is worth the risk, the voice whispered. I knew, deep down, that I craved connection. With a deep breath, I gathered my courage and stood up. This was my chance, a chance to step into the unknown. As I approached his table, my heart pounded in my chest. I felt a surge of panic, a fleeting urge to turn around and run. But I had come too far to back down now. Taking a deep breath, I offered him a tentative smile. "Excuse me," I began, my voice trembling slightly. "I couldn't help but notice you're reading one of my favorite books." To my relief, he looked up from his book, his expression curious, not annoyed. "You know this book?" he asked, his voice warm and inviting. "It's one of my favorites." His eyes twinkled with a hint of amusement. "Mine too," I replied, my confidence growing as we fell into conversation. He listened intently, his gaze never leaving mine. He didn't interrupt or offer unsolicited advice. He simply listened, creating a safe space for me to share my story. As I spoke, I felt a weight lifting from my shoulders. For the first time in months, I felt seen, heard, understood, and in his presence, I felt a glimmer of hope. He shared his own story with me, his own journey of heartbreak and healing. I learned that he too was rebuilding his life. 3 hours flew by like minutes. We talked about everything and nothing. It was as if time stood still. As the sun began to set, we reluctantly agreed it was time to go. He walked me to my car, his hand brushing gently against mine. My heart ached with a mix of longing and gratitude. Longing for more time with this man who had so effortlessly captivated my attention. Gratitude for the unexpected gift of his company. "I had a wonderful time," he said, his eyes holding mine with a sincerity that took my breath away. "I'd love to see you again, if you're open to it." "I would like that very much," I replied. As I drove home that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that something profound had shifted within me. I had met a stranger in a coffee shop, and he had reminded me of the beauty of human connection. A seed had been planted, and I couldn't wait to see what bloomed. The following week, he called. His voice, warm and reassuring, sent a shiver of anticipation down my spine. He invited me to join him and his daughter for a picnic in the park. My heart skipped a beat. This was more than a date. This was a glimpse into his life, his world, his heart. A wave of nervousness washed over me. I had never been particularly good with children. What if she didn't like me? What if I inadvertently said or did something to jeopardize the budding connection? I spent hours agonizing over what to wear, what to bring, how to act. I wanted to make a good impression, to show him that I was kind, compassionate. I took a deep breath, silencing the whispers of doubt, and stepped out the door. The park was bathed in the golden glow of a late summer afternoon. Children's laughter filled the air. I spotted him immediately, sitting on a checkered blanket beneath the shade of a towering oak tree. His daughter, a vision in pigtails and a sunshine yellow dress, was perched on his lap. My heart melted at the sight of them together. The love between them was palpable. He looked up and caught my eye, his face breaking into a smile. He beckoned me over, his daughter's inquisitive gaze following his gesture. "This is Lily," he said, his voice filled with pride and affection. "Lily, this is the woman I told you about." I knelt down to her level, meeting her gaze with a warmth that surprised even me. Section 3. Navigating Uncharted Waters. The afternoon flew by in a flurry of laughter, shared sandwiches, and spirited games of tag. Lily, initially shy and reserved, blossomed in my presence, her infectious laughter filling the park. She was a bright, inquisitive child, her mind a treasure trove of questions and observations that kept us entertained for hours. I watched as her father interacted with her, his patience seemingly endless, his love for her evident in every glance, every touch. He was everything I had ever wanted in a partner, in a father to my future children. Kind, compassionate, present, and deeply in tune with the emotions of those around him. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the park, we packed up our picnic basket and made our way to the parking lot. Lily, exhausted from an afternoon of play, snuggled into her father's arms, her thumb tucked firmly in her mouth. He carried her effortlessly, his gaze never leaving mine as we walked. "Thank you," he said, his voice husky with emotion, "for today, for being so wonderful with Lily." The pleasure was all mine, I replied, my heart swelling with a mix of affection and a strange sense of longing. She's an amazing little girl. Section 4. Whispers of Doubt, Echoes of Fear. That night, as I lay in bed, my mind raced with excitement and trepidation. The afternoon had been more than I could have ever hoped for. The connection between us, undeniable. But then, the whispers of doubt began to creep in, echoes of past hurts threatening my newfound happiness. Was I ready for this? Ready to open my heart again? To risk getting hurt, having my dreams dashed once more? Was I ready to take on the role of a stepmother? The weight of the responsibility felt daunting. The fear was a tangible presence in the room. I tossed and turned, unable to quiet my mind. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the curtains, casting long shadows across my bedroom floor, I came to a decision. I couldn't let fear dictate my life, couldn't allow the ghosts of my past to rob me of the possibility of a brighter future. I had been hurt before, yes, but that didn't mean I was destined to live a life defined by heartbreak. I deserved to be happy. I deserved to love and be loved in return. And if that meant taking a leap of faith, of embracing the unknown with open arms, then so be it. I sat up in bed, a newfound sense of purpose washing over me. I wouldn't allow myself to overthink this, to analyze it to death. I would trust my instincts, my heart, and that persistent inner voice that had never led me astray. Taking a deep breath, I reached for my phone. It was time to call him back, to tell him that I was ready to see where this journey might lead, that I was willing to take a chance on love, on family, on a future filled with laughter, joy, and the unwavering support of a man who saw me, who valued me, who loved me for the complex, messy, beautiful woman I was. Our relationship blossomed organically, a tapestry woven from shared moments, stolen kisses, and whispered promises. We explored hidden cafes tucked away on cobblestone streets, danced under the stars to the rhythm of street musicians, and spent countless hours lost in conversation, our laughter echoing through the empty streets long after the city had gone to sleep. He introduced me to his world, a world filled with the simple joys of fatherhood, weekend trips to the park, bedtime stories, and the unbridled enthusiasm of a child discovering the world for the first time. I watched in awe as he navigated the challenges of single parenthood with patience, grace, and an unwavering devotion to his daughter's well-being. Lily, initially hesitant, warmed up to me slowly but surely. She loved to hear stories about my life in another country, her eyes widening in amazement as I described the vibrant colors, exotic foods, and unfamiliar customs of my homeland. We baked cookies together, her small hands covered in flour as she giggled uncontrollably at her own clumsiness. We built pillow forts in the living room, transforming his modest apartment into a magical wonderland where imagination reigned supreme. With each passing day, the fear that had once gripped my heart began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of belonging, a feeling that I had finally found my place, my purpose, my home. But our newfound happiness was not without its challenges. His past, like a shadow, loomed large over our relationship. His ex-wife, bitter and resentful, made no secret of her disapproval. She bombarded him with angry phone calls, accusing him of neglecting their daughter. His shoulders slumped under the weight of her accusations. The situation took its toll on him, on us. The joy that had once filled our days felt fragile. Section 3. A Mother's Fury, a Child Caught in Between. Lily, too, felt the strain. Her once carefree laughter became less frequent, replaced by a quietness that broke my heart. She would often sit silently in the corner of the room, her eyes downcast, her small body seemingly carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. I tried to talk to her, to offer comfort and reassurance, but my words felt inadequate, clumsy attempts to mend a brokenness I couldn't fully comprehend. I wasn't her mother, and no matter how much I loved her, I could never replace the bond she shared with her biological parents. One afternoon, as I was helping Lily with her homework, she looked up at me, her eyes filled with a wisdom that belied her young age. "Mommy says you're the reason Daddy doesn't love her anymore," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle hum of the refrigerator. "She says you're trying to take Daddy away from me." My heart ached for her, for the impossible position she was in, caught between two parents who were locked in a bitter battle of wills. I pulled her into my arms, holding her close, whispering words of comfort and reassurance. "Your daddy loves you very much, Lily," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "And so do I. Nothing will ever change that." Section 4. Building a Foundation of Love. Despite the challenges, our love for each other grew stronger with each passing day. We found solace in each other's arms, our shared dreams a beacon of hope amidst the storm. We made a conscious decision to focus on the positive, to create a loving and stable home for Lily, a sanctuary where she felt safe, cherished, and unconditionally loved. We established boundaries with his ex-wife, limiting our contact to essential matters concerning Lily's well-being. We refused to engage in her drama, choosing instead to rise above the pettiness, the accusations, the attempts to sabotage our happiness. We focused on building a strong foundation for our relationship, one based on mutual respect, trust, and open communication. We talked about everything, our hopes, our fears, our dreams for the future. We learned to navigate each other's moods, to offer comfort during times of stress, to celebrate each other's successes with genuine joy and enthusiasm. And slowly but surely, the laughter returned to Lily's eyes. She began to thrive in our care, her confidence blossoming, her spirit soaring. She was still caught in the middle, yes, but we were determined to create an environment where she felt loved, supported, and free to be herself, without fear of judgment or reprisal. Section 5. More than just a fairy tale. Our story wasn't a fairy tale, not in the traditional sense. There were no magical solutions, no fairy godmothers waving wands to erase the past, no guarantees that our happily ever after wouldn't be tested time and time again. But in the messy, complicated reality of our lives, we found something beautiful, something real. We found love in the midst of heartbreak, hope in the face of adversity, and strength in each other's arms. We built a family, not through blood ties, but through a shared commitment to love, to support, and to cherish one another, no matter what life threw our way. And that, I realized, was a love story worth telling. Becoming a stepmother wasn't something I had envisioned for myself. I had always dreamed of having children of my own. But life had other plans. Stepping into Lily's life felt like navigating a minefield of emotions. I was hyper-aware of my role as a newcomer. Trust and love needed time to blossom. There were moments of pure joy. We baked cakes together, her small hands covered in flour. We built pillow forts, transforming our apartment into a magical wonderland. In those moments, the complexities faded into the background. But there were also challenges, moments when the weight of my role felt overwhelming. Lily at times would test the boundaries. There were tantrums, tears, and accusations. I had to remind myself that her pain wasn't directed at me personally. Navigating our blended family was a delicate dance, balancing my relationship with Lily, respecting her bond with her mother, and supporting my partner. I had to learn to bite my tongue, even when my instincts screamed to intervene. I accepted that I couldn't force a relationship with Lily's mother. There were times I felt like an outsider, excluded from shared memories. But then, moments when Lily would slip her hand into mine, or crawl into my lap at bedtime, her head beneath my chin. Moments when she would call me Mom, her eyes searching for approval. We were a family, albeit an unconventional one, bound together not by blood ties, but by a shared love, a fierce loyalty, and an unwavering commitment to creating a home filled with laughter, joy, and the unwavering support that only true family can provide. We celebrated birthdays with homemade cakes and spirited renditions of Happy Birthday. We gathered around the dinner table each night, sharing stories of our day, our laughter echoing through the apartment long after the dishes were cleared. We created new traditions, rituals that reflected our unique blend of cultures, personalities, and experiences. We learned to navigate the challenges of co-parenting, establishing clear boundaries and communication channels with Lily's mother. We made a conscious decision to shield Lily from the conflict, to present a united front. Even when our patience was tested, our resolve stretched thin. We were a work in progress, our family portrait a constantly evolving masterpiece. Each stroke, each brushstroke, a testament to our love, our resilience, and our unwavering belief that family is not defined by biology, but by the love, respect, and commitment we choose to share with one another. The fairy tale trope of the wicked stepmother cast a long shadow, its presence felt in the whispers and sideways glances of other parents at the playground, in the thinly veiled judgments of extended family members who couldn't fathom a love that extended beyond blood ties. Lily's mother, fueled by jealousy and a desire to maintain control, did little to dispel the myth. She spun tales of my supposed cruelty, painting me as a villain in her narrative, a manipulative interloper who had stolen her husband and turned her daughter against her. I was accused of favoring my own children we didn't have, at least not yet, of showering Lily with affection only when it served my own self-interests, of being cold, calculating, and devoid of maternal instinct. The accusations stung, their barbs piercing through the armor I had carefully constructed to protect my heart. There were moments when the weight of their judgment, the sheer unfairness of it all, threatened to crush me. I questioned my every move, second-guessing my instincts, terrified of making a mistake that would be used against me, twisted into further evidence of my supposed wickedness. But through it all, my love for Lily, for my partner, for the family we were creating, remained steadfast. I refused to let the bitterness of others poison our well, to allow their negativity to taint the love that bound us together. I continued to show up for Lily, day after day, showering her with the same love, patience, and understanding I would give my own child. I celebrated her successes, offered comfort during times of need, and cheered her on from the sidelines of countless soccer games, dance recitals, and school plays. And slowly but surely, the whispers faded, replaced by a grudging respect, an acknowledgement that the love we shared was real, undeniable, a force to be reckoned with. Our story wasn't a fairy tale, but it was ours. A testament to the power of love to conquer all, to heal old wounds, and to create something beautiful, something lasting, from the ashes of heartbreak and adversity. We were living proof that family is not defined by biology, but by the love, respect, and commitment we choose to share with one another. And that, I realized, was a happily ever after worth fighting for. Looking back on my journey, from heartbreak to love, I am struck by the power of faith. It was faith, a quiet whisper, that urged me to step outside my comfort zone, to venture into the unknown, to believe something beautiful awaited me, even when my heart was heavy with doubt. It was faith that led me to that coffee shop, that fateful day when my eyes met his. Faith guided me towards a love I could never have imagined, a love that healed old wounds and awakened my heart. Faith was a belief in something bigger, a force that connected us all, a source of strength and guidance, especially during uncertainty and doubt. It was the belief that even in the darkest times, when life threw curveballs, there was a plan, a path unfolding before me, even if I couldn't see it clearly. This faith, this belief in the goodness of the universe, the power of love, and the resilience of the human spirit carried me through the storms, guided me towards the light, led me home to myself, to him, to the family we were creating together. Our story wasn't a fairy tale, not in the traditional sense. It was messy, complicated, and at times, downright chaotic. But through it all, we held on to each other, our love a beacon of hope amidst the storm. We discovered that love wasn't about finding the perfect person, but about embracing the imperfections. We learned that love wasn't a destination, but a journey, a shared adventure. We found a love that transcended the boundaries of tradition, a love that redefined family. Our story is a love story for the modern age, a testament to the evolving nature of relationships, the complexities of blended families, and the enduring power of love to heal old wounds and create something beautiful, something lasting, from the ashes of heartbreak and adversity. It's a story about the importance of listening to our intuition, of trusting that quiet inner voice that guides us towards our highest good, even when the path ahead seems uncertain, even when our fears threaten to drown out the whispers of hope. It's a story about the challenges and rewards of embracing the unexpected, of opening our hearts to possibilities we never dared to imagine, of redefining family on our own terms, creating a tapestry woven from love, respect, and a shared commitment to something bigger than ourselves. And it's a story about the transformative power of forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others. Forgiveness, I learned, wasn't about condoning hurtful behavior, but about releasing the bitterness, the anger, the resentment that kept us tethered to the past, preventing us from moving forward with grace and an open heart. If my story resonates with you, if you too have known the pain of heartbreak, the challenges of navigating a blended family, the sting of judgment from those who don't understand your journey, please know this: you are not alone. There is strength in vulnerability, in sharing our stories, in knowing that others have walked a similar path and emerged stronger, wiser, and more open to the beauty and complexity of life. Don't be afraid to ask for help, to lean on those who love and support you, to seek professional guidance if needed. There is no shame in admitting you need support, in reaching out for a lifeline when the waves of life threaten to pull you under. And above all, never give up on love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, capable of healing the deepest wounds, bridging the widest divides, and illuminating even the darkest of nights. Keep your heart open, your spirit strong, and your faith unwavering. Your happily ever after is out there, waiting for you to find it. It may not look exactly the way you imagined, but trust me, it will be more beautiful, more meaningful, and more authentically yours than you ever dared to dream.